Hey guys, Onan here. So I apologize if the audio is not as good. I recently upgraded phones and my mic that I usually slip in this doesn't fit in the new phone. So just going with the stock mic. So I wanted to provide a little bit of an update on the um, journey to celibacy, or at least temporary journey. And so it's been, this is, so on Twitter, I got some comments and questions about why, 2 months, what's the big deal? We do that all the time after babies are born and all that. And some people have been warning me that, living like roommates is a recipe for disaster. But that's not really what's going on here. And let me explain why. So, yeah, I've been through postpartum 9 times now, and it was always, I think we were pushing it a couple times, maybe 4 weeks, but usually 6 weeks. 6 weeks to 2 months was pretty normal. um but you know that was different because that, you're it's in the it's in the wake of bringing a new life into the world. That's an amazing, magical thing. um you it's kind of foisted upon you, sort of, but it's not really. And when mama is a new mom again, many sleepless nights, nursing throughout the day and night, and you're sort of taking care of all the other little ones and running the house and all that. You're tired, and so I don't think, well, I wouldn't say that the abstinence period was necessarily easy postpartum. It's a very different dynamic. And you also know that it would just, it's not safe, I guess, for you and mama to come together even if she wanted to. And so I think that the dynamic there is different in terms of how and why you're going through that period of abstinence. And when the postpartum period is over, at least in my experience, it's not back to business as usual. The first handful of times are generally not very comfortable for the new mom. It's kind of functional at that point. You're just trying to make things happen, but it's not super passionate or enjoyable. Um, and so, I just think the dynamics of a postpartum abstinence period are different. In full disclosure, I never made it through those postpartum periods perfectly, from the standpoint of solo and all that, but I, did my best. Um, and others have said, well, I've been through roommate stages and stuff like that, and it's bad. Well, we're not really in a roommate stage. I mean, we're not. I'm not doing this because I don't want to make love to my wife, or my wife doesn't want to make love to me. And in fact, the opposite is true. I want that so much. Um, but NFP is just such a shitty system. 2 weeks on, a week off, or you know, two weeks off, 1 week on, 1 week off, a couple days on. It's just that back and forth crap is really, really, I don't know, messes with my mind. And it takes something that's wonderful and beautiful, and it is wonderful and beautiful when it happens, but it is surrounded by a complete cloud of stress. That's been my experience. It's just enveloped in stress. And one of the main reasons I came to this decision is it seemed like the benefit I and we were getting out of the few times we could do it was just dwarfed by the amount of stress I was trying to process and manage the rest of the time. You get basically and it's for me, it's stressful leading up until the night we do it because it's always iffy as to whether something is going to happen. It is always outside my control. It comes down primarily to my wife's level of interest in how tired she is and whether the kids cooperate. It's never whether I want to do it or not. It's is it are the circumstances going to allow it? So the entire day of is stressful, and then of course when you can do it, it's amazing and fall asleep. I fall asleep right after we talk for a while, then and the next day is great. Like the next day is the highest of highs. It is my most productive day. All that bad feeling is gone, dissipates, and then it just starts to creep back after a day or so. So by day 2 and 3, yeah, the nice feelings have worn off, and the stressful feelings have started to set back in again. And so even during the quote infertile times, just based on our circumstances, it's not like we are ever going back to back or sometimes every couple of days, but usually it's you know, once at the very beginning of the infertile time, you've been abstaining for 2+ weeks, and that one's kind of easy to make happen. And then, it might be 3 or 4 days, and you try it again, and then depending on the length of that, you maybe get another shot at the end. But then it's towards the beginning of a new cycle. She's not necessarily feeling great, and so you get, you know, one really great one that's great because it's after 2+ weeks of abstinence, and then you get another one in there, and then if you're lucky, you get a third one in there in a period of about 7 to 10 days, 7, 8 days, depends how long that phase 3 is, and then you're back off again. A new cycle starts, and for us, it's always been by day 4, she's starting to feel up for it, and so we with the Marquette, we have a window of like kind of like up to like day 6 or 7, something like that. And we would always, pretty much always make it happen one time during there. Occasionally, we'd have to stretch that out a day or so, just because we weren't in a place where we could do it. So you get once there, and then you get, let's say, 2 to 3 times during that brief phase 3 window. And even those times, like I said, are kind of constantly surrounded in stress, except for the day after. And so the decision to do this, let's say, trial run of celibacy under these circumstances is totally different than anything else we've done. And I would say the first day, because I sort of proposed this to my wife, a little bit of a, I don't know, bombshell, maybe is exact, well, probably is bombshell to her. um the first day was awkward, is I'm trying to sort out, kind of, or I think we're just kind of sorting out how we relate to each other. Um, but yesterday was really, really nice, and last night we went out to an event. We were um, doing a trivia night. We were on separate teams, and we had a lot of fun. And I was watching my wife, and it reminded me of when we were dating and engaged, and how I thought she was so beautiful, and I couldn't wait to marry her. But you really weren't thinking any any further than that, because it could. And I'll be frank, there was times where I was like, man, I wish I should just scrap this celibacy thing already. But I I think we need this. I think I need this to know, is because we're not like roommates right now. It's a bit awkward, but I've decided I'm not going to give my wife the cold shoulder. I'm going. I reached out and gave her a big hug a couple times yesterday. Kissed her before bed. Um, I'm going to do that as long as it doesn't totally mess with my ability to be, um, to be chaste. I guess let's just use that word. Um, and honestly, my biggest fear is I was thinking yesterday, she may like this version so much better. She never wants to go back, and you know, I don't think that's going to happen. I think she's going to miss that type of intimacy as well. But you know what? If she likes this better and I'm not, and my level of stress and everything is less than it is under NFP and this flipping back and forth, then maybe that's the loving thing to do. Maybe that is the best thing for our relationship. It's going to come down to my ability to still be affectionate to her, to still be a good person. And there's gonna be moments. Um, I was very tired last night. She was still up with the youngest. I didn't have any trouble falling asleep, but then I woke up at 4:30 and couldn't get back to sleep. And um, your mind starts thinking about these things. And so I was up for about an hour, went down, did some research, then I went back to bed for a little bit. But the burning in the loins hasn't been as bad as it has been in the past. In part, I think because I know it's off limits, it maybe that makes it easier. Maybe confirming my theory that celibacy is easier than being an intermittently active person in marriage. But I'm really actually enjoying this time with my wife to be able to love her and show her that I love her even without any of that being on the table. I think is bearing some fruit and might continue to bear fruit. And I think at the end of the day, I think we're gonna see that this was a really, really positive thing. I hope I hope that at the end of this, we can work on some things this during this 2 month period, and at the end of it, we can hopefully resume an intimate life. Maybe I'll be in a position where I can manage NFP better. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll decide having a baby isn't the worst thing in the world. I don't know, but um, all I know is I am, at least at this point. We're only 3 days in, so who knows? But at this point, I have much more peace in my heart over this than the constant frustration of NFP. And I don't think it's just NFP now. I think it's very much. I, as I was reflecting yesterday, I really think we're suffering from the kind of the damage we did to our marriage over too many years of NFP and kind of neglecting our relationship in favor of trying to be super parents. And I really think we're really sort of suffering in the wake of all that. And so tonight we're going to go out for dinner for a date, something we had been doing for the last few months anyway, going out once a month, just ourselves. And so we're going to go out tonight. I think it'll be a really nice time. And I'm going to try to be better about talking about things and maybe covering some things that in the past I've been hesitant to do. Um, but I'm really enjoying this better than I thought I would at this point in the process, and we'll see how things go. So anyway, if you can't hear the church bells in the background, I'm getting ready to go to mass. So I'll let you guys go, but I wanted to give you guys kind of an update. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate your comments, thoughts, and support. Things are good. Our marriage isn't dying yet, and I would say if anything, we're probably growing. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So appreciate you listening, and until next time, everyone, have a good one.